Okay, everyone, I've got to just do one more negative video about the Evan Peters reveal from WandaVision. I frankly wasn't a fan of the boner joke at all. But there's also the crazy possibility that even despite the boner joke happening in the finale, that is actually indeed the Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men universe. I know, we're still fanboy dreaming. Let's break it down. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you smash that like button. And I want to remind everybody that we are doing like a ton of streaming over on our live streaming channel. You should definitely go check it out live. And if you missed it live, you can always check out some of those streams on replay. Let's talk about the obvious elephant in the room. Yeah, I got way too hyped up about the X-Men thing, and it broke my heart, dude. It led me down a path of crazy disappointment. Obviously, yeah, we went out on a limb. We got way too excited about it, and I am a little bit disappointed. In fact, a lot disappointed about the lack of X-Men. However, I think if we're being fair, and I'm definitely trying to be fair in this video, Feige sort of set us up for these kind of expectations. I want to show you a couple of different clips from interviews from San Diego Comic-Con 2019.
But you only referred to the X-Men as, quote, mutants.
Mutants and X-Men are interchangeable. I just said mutants. Whatever we do will be quite different than what's been done before.
And you said Fantastic Four and X-Men. Can we just say that means they're coming?
That means we have them back. We are working towards it.
And a lot of the logic there was, hey, look, this Fox deal is awesome, but it's also relatively new. And to me, when it comes to WandaVision, this completely excuses many of the things that happen in the show that don't fully dive into the X-Men stuff. Because remember, this show was developed from a very early point in a universe where you didn't necessarily have access to the Fox X-Men characters. And to me, the biggest thing here is about Wanda, and Wanda not being called out as a mutant in this show at all. They not only skirt that fact, they actually then focus on the fact that she's a Scarlet Witch, and there's this new emphasis brought to this Scarlet Witch thing, this sort of prophecy maybe from the Darkhold, something to do with Chthon or something to do with some ancient dark powers like that. The whole point is they had a golden opportunity there to explain, oh, she's a mutant. That's crazy. And that would have really recontextualized both the show, the character of Wanda, and the conflict that we're walking into past this show. And I think if you really take a step back and think about it, it does make sense that they didn't go the mutant route for Wanda. Because again, a lot of the connective tissue and the things coming out of this were already designed in a world where they weren't sure if they had the mutants. And if we're being like super charitable here, what this could also indicate again is that this plan is actually very well thought out, and that Wanda and whatever's going on with Wanda is a large part of what is happening moving forward. This ties into some things and leaks and, reports that are out there suggesting that there's this multiverse breaking trilogy beginning with WandaVision, moving into things like Loki, but mostly Spider-Man 3, and then it will then be resolved in Doctor Strange 2. That's something that a lot of people have talked about, but that again sort of implies that we would have been seeing some multiverse stuff in WandaVision, and it really doesn't seem like, at least from the angle of X-Men in the Fox X-Men universe, that was established at all. In fact, the boner joke, if anything, sort of throws a lot of water on those said theories. But see, here's where it gets a little bit confusing for me personally, because even though it makes sense for Wanda to not be considered a mutant and not to have that be a big part of the story, I still don't understand then why Evan Peters was used at all. I mean, are you telling me you straight up could not get Aaron Taylor Johnson back? Or did that just not make sense in your story and you thought it was cool to maybe do a thing that people would then think is a Fox X-Men character? And I don't know for sure, but again, looking back at those interviews around the time of X-Men Dark Phoenix coming out and them asking those questions, remember that really awkward interview where Evan Peters was really quiet about coming into the MCU? Well, again, it appears that was totally real, that in some ways that was a thing that they were building towards perhaps having a bigger reveal. And even the Nightcrawler leak, guys, even though you could say maybe it's complete crap, there was a mounting bit of evidence to suggest that there was something going on there. And his publicist, the actor that supposedly was going to play Nightcrawler, his publicist was active out there getting different content creators and people that had interviewed him to change the way they were talking about things. Now, that could be in a post-Rona world that actor was going to show up. Maybe they cut that out. And we're now hearing from the director, Matt Shakman himself, that there was actually a world in which there were going to be 10 episodes of WandaVision, and they did condense down that final episode and partially cut things out because of the Rona and because of the restrictions for shooting. But man, and that boner joke was terrible. Let me explain something to you guys. I think you could see all of this playing out, and had you just not done the boner joke, I think you would have been okay. But I think the fact that this was such an anticipated thing, and there were all these different things that changed, or at least were altered behind the scenes, and we're really left with just a dangling thread. I think too, on top of that dangling thread just being there, to do this boner joke, which again, maybe in some universe you could say is totally cool, I think is just ridiculous. And maybe it's just me, but if you also felt that way, please let people know in the comment section. But I just personally think that was a really, really bad call. And even if that is actually the Pietro from the Fox X-Men universe, and he's in the witness protection program, and that will eventually be revealed, and the character himself picked the name Ralph Boner because that seems like something that character would do, even in a world where all of that makes sense and will be later explained. I still think it was an incredibly horrible, like maybe the worst decision they've made in a long time type of choice. Like real bad. Like I'm legit hiding how pissed off I am about it. But on that, let's just, for a moment, talk about that possibility of him being the actual character that's somehow in our universe in witness protection. Now, number one, if this character came in and there was something crazy going on that then would make them be a part of witness protection, that's one thing. But why is Sword involved with the witness protection? Why is Hayward involved? And like Jimmy's whole situation in this thing feels really weird and interesting too. Why also do none of the people that knew this person, the missing person, have any recollection or memory of him? Is there something going on here beyond just the scope of the show? A true multiverse breaking thing that, again, you know, not to get too crazy here, but could this deal with the idea of the J. Jonah Jameson character appearing at the end of Far From Home, seemingly being the same character from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man universe? And on that note, what's up with all these crazy rumors about Spider-Man 3? I mean, Feige himself has admitted that some of those rumors are true and some of them are not. So which ones are true? I mean, some of them were broke in the Hollywood trades, which feel pretty reliable. If Jamie Foxx Electro is really coming in and having a new costume, does that not feel exactly like what happened with J. Jonah Jameson, and perhaps very similar to what happened to the Pietro from the Fox X-Men in this example with the Ralph Boner thing? So it's possible, and I'm still holding out some hope for that indeed being the case. But regardless, man, I think what this situation really proves is that we are thirsty for X-Men. As an X-Men fan, I am excited to see hopefully new X-Men and, you know, him doing his thing with the mutants, him being Kevin Feige, fully of his own like volition. But I also personally love the idea of some of the crazy Fox X-Men showing up because, number one, that's a totally comic book thing when it comes to the multiverse. You have that available. And number two, it would be a dope-ass way to increase the value of those said Fox X-Men movies, which I don't know if you noticed, Disney, are actually in the red in some ways on your budgets. Both Dark Phoenix and Apocalypse lost you money.
Give me your money!
So maybe it wouldn't have been the worst thing to bring in some of those characters and make it make sense in some crazy multiverse way, because then maybe people would give a crap about going to check those movies out. All right, last thing here too. As pissed off as I am about the Evan Peters situation, I really am still very much looking forward to everything the MCU has going on, including the mutants. There are rumors that the mutants are going to start popping up in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, after getting burned on rumors from Falcon or from WandaVision, I am a little hesitant to buy in completely to those. But there are rumors, ladies and gentlemen, that we will be seeing some mutants very, very soon. So that's it, guys. Just wanted to talk about the crazy Evan Peters situation. You think I'm super far off base here? You think that is still the Pietro from the Fox X-Men universe? What are your thoughts on the whole situation and how it was handled from the perspective of fans and Disney and Marvel Studios? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.